up here. Now, this is going to be part 3 to What If Deku Had No Ears. This is Assault Mode with Mitsuki. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Now, I am aware that he is on hiatus, but I did ask him to send me the link to part 2 so I can put it in my description. Now, I think he sent me the link, I'm not very sure, but I know he responded to me. Now then, I have been trying to record this, but I had to go over some recap stuff. Well, recap some stuff. So I had to rewatch part 2 that he did on his channel. And I actually caught more details that I thought I missed. Well, I actually did miss. So, okay, think on it. I thought the recording stopped. Anyways, now, they are on the bus for the USJ. But before that, oh god. Ew. For the USJ, let's do this. Before that, Bakugo. Deku was pulled aside by All Might, and All Might was explaining to Deku that his idea about using his poison ability on the villain, on villains, it is good, but the way he's doing it is not very effective. That you could unintentionally harm a villain in a way that would probably kill them. Like hitting them in the face whenever you're aiming for somewhere else, or hitting an artery nearby where you were aiming. So you need to switch up what you're using. All Might would then say that Deku's whole capture thing, it's pretty unique, because it's essentially utilizing your quirk in a way that's different. Now then, Deku would ask what All Might recommends, and All Might would actually say that he should use something like you can carry more of, something smaller and more compact. And he would then tell Deku that a needle, like a regular sewing needle, or like anything smaller than what a knife is, would actually be better. Deku would then actually take this idea and actually go get needles for his hero costume. Now he essentially would be able to fit like 20 to 15 times more needles in where he could put his knife belt in, or like a utility belt. I don't exactly remember what. If his hero costume doesn't have a utility belt, let's say he has like a pouch on his costume that he has, that he can put the needles in. Now then, for the USJ Attack, everyone is asking Deku about his quirk, because he is essentially the strongest. He would say that his quirk, Wrath, essentially works off of his emotions. And if he feels angry, his power gets stronger. But if he reaches a point where he starts losing himself and getting swallowed by his anger, he essentially can become unstable. Now, Sue actually does ask what she means by unstable, and he would say that basically he could go on a rampage, and he doesn't know if anyone would be able to stop him. This is why he acts the way he does. People would realize that this is why Deku kind of acts the way with his personality. Because he was being very, very serious when he said this. He had a change in tone. But he immediately jumped back into his playful personality. Now, people have actually taken some notice into this, especially Todoroki, seeing that Deku essentially, he's putting on a facade. So you kind of understand Deku a little bit. Now then, during the USJ attack, 13 was actually talking about how quirks can be heroic or villainous. That even a hero with a villainous quirk can I say a hero with a villainous quirk can be a good one? Yeah, I think that's what I said. Anyways, now then, the villains would actually arrive, and Deku would have actually, as soon as he would have saw them, he would have jumped right in the fight. Aizawa would have jumped in too, so he's a bit too busy trying to deal with the villains to actually stop Deku. Now, Deku is essentially powered up into his first and second mode. Actually, his second mode. Now then, while Deku is in this mode, he's actually fighting quite a bit. And he's actually retained a bit of it. He's actually able to keep on his. He's essentially being more serious with his personality, but he's still not emotionless. Now, he's a bit. He's trying to hold back enough to where he can fight, but he doesn't want to, kill. Now then, he is actually fighting quite a bit, and this is whenever he would actually power up into this mode, and he's actually fighting. People are taking notice as to Deku is using essentially his third mode. Now, he's actually fighting, and this is whenever Kirigiri would actually teleport all the students away. But Deku is actually one of the students. Well, he's the only student who dodged the attack. Now, the way he dodged it was as soon as he saw everyone around him get sucked up by portals, he immediately jumped up into the air because everyone just sank into the ground. As soon as he did that, he actually turned his power into a form of wings and actually just kept flying around. Kirigiri would summon the Nomu after Shigaraki told him to. Now then, after that, that is whenever Aizawa would try and take on the Nomu and essentially he would have actually gotten his arms broken along with a scar on his face. And Deku would have saw this, so he would have gotten angrier and a bit more serious. So he would then have powered up into. He's still in this mode, but he's actually getting a lot angrier. And the Nomu would arrive, and Deku and him are fighting. Now, the Nomu does actually have another quirk. If you guys have ever seen Mortal Kombat, like the old school ones with the guy who has metal blades coming out of his arms along with the jagged teeth. I don't remember what his name is. It was something Baka, Trirbaka or Kurbaka. I believe. I have not played that Mortal Kombat in a long time. That was whenever 360 was still popular. Jesus. Anyways, after that, Deku and the Nomu are fighting. They would eventually get into an arms grip, and Deku he would be too busy trying to hold the Nomu back to actually notice that it has jagged spots on its arms. And the Nomu would immediately pop out his claws. And this would actually stab both of Deku's arms, and the Nomu would have pulled off. The Nomu would have cut off Deku's left arm. Now, as soon as this happened, Deku's screaming in pain. Aizawa is able to see this, but he would immediately see, as Deku would he would have gone further into madness and just start laughing, as he would then go over, pick up his arm, and immediately reattach it. Now, Aizawa was a bit horrified looking at this, because Deku's essentially going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. Now, as soon as Deku did do this, he would have charged straight at the Nomu trying to fight him, but the Nomu would immediately just stab him through the chest. Aizawa is horrified watching this, because he thinks Deku just got murdered. He thinks that the strongest kid in Class 1A just got murdered right in front of his eyes. After the Nomu stabbed him through the heart, the Nomu would just punch him straight away. Now everyone would see as Deku is flying through the air, and he would then hit a giant wall in the USJ. Now everyone just sees as they think Deku's lifeless body is just stuck in the wall. As they would then see Deku's body just fall and hit the ground. Now, as Deku's laying there, he's thinking that this is not good. This is going to be a gamble, but he has to take it. He would then try getting back up, and Shigaraki would see this, so he would walk over to Deku and actually tell him that you got stabbed in the heart, yet you're still fighting. You're going to die here, kid. All Might has failed you. Now, what do you have to say for yourself? Deku, he's still trying to get up, but he can't even muster up the power to. Now, Deku, he would then get angry at himself. He wasn't strong enough to protect everyone. He isn't strong enough to protect himself, and now everyone is going to die. Aizawa is going to die. Then Shigaraki would then taunt Deku as he's still trying to stand, saying that first we're going to kill you, and then we're going to kill All Might. Now, Deku doesn't care very much about All Might, but he still respects him, seeing as his whole inspiration for being a hero. Deku, he would snap, quite frankly. Shigaraki would have just heard Deku go quiet with his breathing and immediately fall into the ground. Now, everyone, Bakugo would see this along with Kirishima, and they would then just, Bakugo would have said that damn nerd, he's too busy being a hero to even protect himself. Kirishima would say that, Bakugo, this is not the time for that. He just died trying to protect us. We need to protect everyone now. Now, this is whenever they would watch as Deku got back up. Bakugo would have looked around back to see if Deku was actually dead. He wouldn't see his body. Now, this is whenever they would immediately just feel this sensation of darkness and rage just overpower the entire area. Now, Deku has essentially just, this is unfiltered rage and power. Just, the sunny day just turned into pitch black darkness. Shigaraki is confused because he knows what time it is. The sun is supposed to be out. Where is it? This is whenever Shigaraki would just hear all the villains scream. He would hear them just get cut off. And then he would just hear the Nomu. Well, he would still be able to see the Nomu because his eyes are adjusting, but he would just see the Nomu getting slashed over and over by something moving. This is when he would see Deku, and Deku is completely engulfed in darkness. And he's just ripping the Nomu apart. He's ripping limbs off. He's ripping the head off. He's ripping everything apart. He took one of the blades out of the Nomu's arms, ripped it off, and essentially just started stabbing him with it over and over again. This is whenever Shigaraki would be horrified, saying that that kid is dead, isn't he? What is he? Is he even human? Now, Deku would immediately turn his attention to Shigaraki after he thinks Nomu's dead, and just start walking over to him while humming, like Perfect Cell, or Semi-Perfect Cell against Android 18. Now, Shigaraki would see this, saying that, "Come on, kid, are you really going to be a hero? I think you'd make a much better villain. Why don't you join us?" He would then hold out his hand to Deku. Deku, he would just bring the blade up to Shigaraki's neck, saying that if he wanted to be a villain, he would have been one a long time ago. Now, after saying this, Deku just smirks and starts laughing at Shigaraki. This is whenever Shigaraki would immediately jump back and Deku would turn around and see the Nomu. Now, he would have actually put his hand up, stopping its fist, and just start turning it backwards against the Nomu, making it drop to its knees, as he would then snap its arm and just rip it out of the socket. He would then take the blade and just stab it up through the Nomu's head into its brain, killing it. He would then turn his attention back to Shigaraki, saying that now that that little distraction is over, what am I going to do with you? You have pissed me off too much, frankly. I'm going to enjoy and take my time with you, however. I want to see exactly how long you last against these. Deku would then immediately grab all the needles, well, most of the needles he has, out of the pouches on his sides and just throw them at Shigaraki. Shigaraki would then get stung by about 20 to 30 needles and immediately start screaming. Now, everyone is horrified to see what Deku is doing, but they're realizing that he lost it. Now, this is whenever the pro heroes would arrive, and they're confused because they're standing in the doorway, and anytime they put their hand in, it essentially gets engulfed by darkness. Now then, Deku is actually, he would have turned his head while Shigaraki is still screaming, looking at All Might, and then just immediately turning his attention back to Shigaraki. Now Shigaraki is essentially just writhing on the ground and screaming. Deku would just put his foot on one of Shigaraki's shoulder and just press down hard enough to where Shigaraki's screaming over and more powerful. This is whenever Deku would just finally break his arm. He would then walk over to Shigaraki's legs, saying that, you know, he would stop, you just have to ask me nicely. Shigaraki would then beg Deku to stop, as Deku would just keep pressing down on his kneecap, breaking it. Now, he would then go over to his other kneecap, and Shigaraki would ask Deku to please stop. This is whenever All Might would arrive, telling Deku that he needs to stop. This is too far. Deku would say, why is it too far? These villains basically almost killed me. He got stabbed straight through the heart. So, why should he stop? They made him ill like a heartless creature. No one ever apologized for turning me into a monster. So what about him? Who turned him into a monster, All Might? All Might would actually have taken a step back by this, because Deku's he just has anger in his eyes. This is whenever Midnight would actually walk over to Deku and actually let out this. She would rip her costume to where it would immediately engulf Deku in like a ball of that perfume substance, and then Deku, he would be trying to swat it away, but as soon as he would swat enough of it away, it would be too late, and he would immediately just pass out. Now, he would wake up in Recovery Girl's office with Sue, and I'm pretty sure Mineta got kicked out of this version. But Sue and I don't know who else to put here. Anyways, he would wake up in the office with Sue, and Recovery Girl is telling them that Deku is lucky because what he did to repair his heart actually did work until they can get him to Recovery Girl's office so that she can actually do surgery on him and make sure that she can repair it properly. And Deku would then try and move, but she's telling him not to because he just had surgery. He would look over and ask what happened to Sue. She would say that Sue got teleported over into the water zone. She was trapped on a boat with the villains, all by herself. And she's not exactly sure what happened to Sue, but she knows that the villains actually did essentially ambush her and nearly kill her. But whenever Deku did his whole darkness takeover, the villains actually fled into the water, like deeper into the water. But All Might was able to capture them before anything bad happened. Well, anything seriously bad could happen to Sue, like getting murdered or broken limbs. Now, Deku would say that he was so busy, he would then ask what happened during the USJ, because all he remembers is getting stabbed and thrown into a wall and nearly dying. She would explain to Deku and actually show him the footage. Deku's horrified at what he sees, but he understands what happened. Now then, I'm going to be leaving this off here, and I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I hope you guys did enjoy. Catch you guys later.